Thanks for coming by the booth today. So, if you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about why you are at the DMA.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, Angela. So my name is Nancy Harhut, and I'm the Chief Creative Officer of HBT Marketing. And I'm here at the DMA because, well, a couple of reasons. I've been coming to the DMA for years. I always get great information. I always come back from the conference with a bit of information to share with my clients, or a case study, or a new technique, or something new from the production floor, and it always makes it worthwhile. So that's one reason I'm here. The other reason I'm here is I'm actually doing a presentation at 4:05 today.
Okay.
How about that, huh?
Very good. So tell us a little bit, what are you presenting on?
So the title of my presentation is called The New Science Behind Campaigns That Persuade. And basically, I'm talking about how to position ourselves for success in the coming years. Marketers need to blend data science and behavioral science. So we've got these fabulous data-driven campaigns, but if we really want to ratchet up the likelihood that we engage and get our customers to respond, we want to add some behavioral science as well. And behavioral science is all about how people make decisions and the decision-making shortcuts that we use, and the decision defaults that we rely on in order to make decisions. And if we as marketers can get out ahead of that, we can make our campaigns that much more effective. So it's pretty interesting stuff.
Very interesting, yeah. And I'm curious to know a little bit more about how AI is actually going to play into that. So of course, IBM is a big player in the AI market, and so I'm wondering, how do you see AI playing into what you're doing with behavioral and data-driven campaigns?
Sure. So, I mean, if you think about it, artificial intelligence is really going to be helpful for marketers in terms of crunching data that we can't crunching data much faster than we could ever as humans, right? So that's going to give us information that we need in terms of who to target, where to find them, what are the right messages for them. So AI is going to help us determine all of that much faster than we could on our own. And then when you add to that the behavioral science, which basically tells you how to serve up the message, you've got that really nice 1-2 punch. So you're talking to the right person, you're finding them at the right time, you've identified the right message for them. But then the question is, how do you make sure that message gets through? And there's a lot of research that indicates that 95% of decision making happens in the subconscious mind. That's the behavioral science side. So if we start to tap into that and craft our messages using that so that they do kind of slip in through the subconscious and get people to respond automatically, that's when you've got a real win-win situation.
So I'm also curious about how your agency helps clients get all their data together, because I know that it's so basic. We've been talking about data for so many years at the DMA, at these conferences. How do you help your clients get those pieces of data together so that they can actually inform the other pieces that you're doing for them?
You made a great observation that sometimes, companies are like, I don't know, there's all this data and yet I can't pull it all together. And I've been in this business for a few years, and so just a couple, exactly. Yeah. And some of the things that I heard when I was just starting out as a copywriter, let alone as a creative director, but just as a copywriter, I still hear today, which is, we think that this is what this person bought most recently. We think this is who this person is, but we're not entirely sure, so you better not use that in the creative. And it's like, 15 years ago that was one thing, but today, in this day and age, it's like really... Now the flip side of that is some of our clients are completely on top of it, have fabulous data science departments, and they can tell us with certainty, this is who you're talking to, this is everything you need to know about them, and of course that makes my job that much easier. But so we love working with clients like that. When our clients aren't in a position to do that, we help them. We help them by partnering with people and companies and organizations who can provide that service and can provide it really, really well. And that helps pull it all together.
Is it just a matter of budgets, do you think? Is that the difference? Or is there a mindset at the top that's more interested in data? What do you think the difference is from the clients that you've worked with?
In terms of those who really embrace it and those who are a little nervous about it?
Yeah.
So I think you've probably identified a couple of reasons, and it probably does vary from organization to organization. I think for some it seems like it's a huge nut to crack, and it's just going to take a lot of effort and a lot of hours, and it's just they don't know how to get their heads around it, how to get their arms around it. Others know where they want to go, and they're like, oh, do we really have the budget, or is it something that we need to push off for a little bit longer and a little bit longer? And then, sometimes you have some people who they almost don't know what they don't know, and you're like, oh, we could be doing it so much better if only you could tap into this, and then it's like, the light bulb goes off,
Yeah. So with regard, just continuing on the AI track a little bit more, what are you kind of most excited about for the future of where marketing in particular is going? Because I feel like marketing maybe is an area where it's not as well explored with AI yet anyway, and
So that's a really good observation. And so here's what I'm jazzed about, and you're going to see the parallel. I think where marketing is going, and what I'm really excited about is this intersection of data science and behavioral science. And from a behavioral science perspective, we're seeing behavioral science making some pretty strong inroads into education, into healthcare, into politics even, and now it's just starting to get into marketing. And so there's the parallel, because maybe AI has gotten a stronger foothold in other places, and now is getting a little bit more into marketing. And I think marketers are on the brink of seizing a huge opportunity where we bring these two disciplines together, and it's going to make us far more efficient, far more effective, and infinitely better at doing what it is we want to do, which is, at the end of the day, get people to make decisions, right?
Right.
I spoke earlier today with one of our clients who used data science and behavioral science together to put a campaign out there. They got in 1 month more response than they had gotten in the previous year's campaign. So a year's worth of results were surpassed with a single month, and it speaks to the data science and the behavioral science. So it really is where we're going.
Would you say it's the same kind of company that is advanced in the data is also the ones that are going to be first movers on these behavioral science, data science pieces that are coming together?
I haven't run the data on that to predict, so I don't really know. But I think it's a good hypothesis, and it would be worth checking out, because I think if you're savvy about the data, you would at least be even more open to being savvy about the emerging discipline of behavioral science. And I think if you're into behavioral science, your next need is going to be, well, all right, tell me more about the data, because I know how to serve up the message, but I want to be better at the who and the when and the where of that message.
Right.
So I think there is that intersection, yes.
Thank you very much for stopping by the booth. I appreciate it. It was very nice talking to you.
Angela, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.